This is the Ruckus and the Menace.
Challenge accepted.
No. Oh, no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games.
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
There you go.
There it is.
There's a winner. Look at that.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you,
Ruckus and the Menace fam, how's it going? You are listening to episode number 176 of the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I'm Spenace the Menace, and we back, baby. It's baseball time once again.
Yep. I don't know what else to say about that, but sure, I've been watching the World Baseball Classic, but that's the only exciting thing so far going on in sports. Besides the free agency period, which we'll get into.
Ruckus just... The lack of follow-up with that just kind of killed the hype. But...
I'm Ruckus always causing a ruckus.
Yeah, what else is new? But... we've been away for a little bit. How things been holding up?
A lot of arc raiders, a lot of burnout with arc raiders as far as just trying to not get into nasty lobbies. I've been recently getting some lobbies where I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna go lead up this underground area in Spaceport, and then all of a sudden, like 2 minutes later, I get zapped or shot by some rando that doesn't say anything, and I'm just like, hey buddy, why are you killing me? And they just kill me.
Games
So I'm
as a service, what else is new?
Oh well, but at least Arc Raiders is doing a better job with their community versus what Battlefield's doing, which is nothing. But I digress.
Except laying off their own employees.
Another big oof.
But that is another digression for another time. As for me, I mean, other than kind of taking things onto the bring it back machine in playing some older stuff, and then also really haven't played a whole lot of stuff that's too modern. I think the worst I've maybe gone back to has been 2023 with Fire Emblem Engage, but I'll mention a little bit more about that in Lights Camera Action later.
I forgot to also mention Resident Evil Requiem. That game is a chef's kiss, but anyways.
Again, we'll mention that here in Lights Camera Action. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. But I stepped out on the disc golf course yesterday.
I'll have a follow-up.
And I somehow have hit my personal best. I finally broke 75 on the main course I've been playing at. I was with one of the disc golf guys that I'm with, and he's probably the second best person out of the entire group. But he was throwing around a couple of different discs. I was messing around with a few new ones, few ones that I've more recently played with. No birdies, but I shot a 74 with no triple bogeys. So I'm a happy camper when it comes to meeting some of the goals and actually getting fuller flights on it. So, and my approach game was just locked in. I could put something in from about maybe 125 feet away and park it within like 10, 15 feet of the basket consistently.
While you were doing the disc golf stuff, I was on Sunday, so a few days ago as a recording, we had our spring training, like our first kind of practice at the Sandlot. And not only was it a challenge to find parking, and I'll get to that here in a second, I don't know. Okay, we'll just get to the parking part, because there was a big disc golf thing going on there, and so like most of the parking was just like engulfed by disc golfers, like parking and whatnot. Like, good for them, they're having fun. But like when I got to the Sandlot at the beginning, I was like, well, like, where am I gonna park? And then I was just like, okay, I found a spot, but like I was thinking about what happened last year around the time that we started back up again with the Sandlot, and that same issue happened. But I had
Yeah,
fun. My body hates me, but we're getting through
yeah,
it.
and I don't think it was a pro. It wasn't the major. It wasn't the major DGPT like major pro tour event that normally comes along y'all's way down there in Middle America. It wasn't the Kansas City wide open. It wasn't the KC wide open.
Yeah, it was something
The
else.
Yeah, the bigger names like your Paul McBeths, your Ezra Aderholds, Ricky Wysocki, they're all in the Bayou right now, preparing for the Big Easy Open. So that's where they're at right now. So it wasn't anything out there near where you were just yet. I think the Kansas City wide open. I think the Kansas City wide open is
Probably closer to April or May, I would imagine.
yeah, April 24th to 26th.
Because
It's
I
near the end of April.
remember around the time that baseball was starting, we were doing our spring training because the winter that we had last year was more brutal than this year. Speaking of which, it was 85 degrees today.
Yeah, it was about 77 here. So, but it's this year the KC wide open is in it's the 24th to 26th from in Liberty. Which I think if I look at the course, it's going to be at Bad Rock Creek. So I might be,
Interesting.
yeah, because I think what I'm looking at, if I'm going to find a spot for a tournament, I'll probably end up at if I go, it'll probably be the 2026 Powerball Cup in Lynchburg.
That's still a
Eh,
better representation of a company than Waste Management. I
Yeah,
was going to make a riff about that like a couple weeks ago, and when the Waste Management Open was going on, and Bobby Witt and them were all over there. I was like, what kind of event is appetizing towards a garbage company? I guess
yeah,
you could say the same thing about Guaranteed Rate Field, but I digress.
yeah. Because I could go. Yeah, because I think they've got. Because I think their big event was the Lynchburg. Lynchburg is the Powerball playoffs, and I know we were planning on having some of the guys like having the guys go out, but that is worth a that'd be worth a drive, like worth the drive. I mean, it's like 2.5 hours just to get down there to potentially see some pros. So I may uh I may take advantage of it. Who knows? But that's that's another digression for another time. But I think we've got some channel news to kind of speak on at this point for what's kind of been dropping while we've been on a bit of a break. And Ruckus, you
Um,
have the first
okay, I was
notable
like,
piece that's in motion.
because I heard the noise and I'm like, okay, am I supposed to go? Or anyways, it's been two
Yeah.
weeks, folks. So I've been still continuing to do the Good Raider Ruckus stuff. Yes, like I said earlier, I was talking about being a little burnt out, but at the same time, part of me wanted to give myself time to get through the objectives that would come out during the updates because every update had they added more quests and stuff, so it makes the game more fun and more friendly because everyone's trying to do the damn quest at the same time. Um, but once there's not much to do, it makes the people that want to rat on other just random raiders out there like it can be very toxic, and sometimes it's like just like a justified like okay this guy is definitely in the wrong, or sometimes it'll just be like someone that doesn't even talk to you or speak to you and just shoot you with no questions asked, and you're just like, okay, that's probably a bot, but how can I tell if that is a bot or not? Um, but I did have a random rat that was cheating the other day, and they were about to plant a deadline, which is a mine that you'd use on like a Rocketeer or really any of those big arc enemies, but he was attempting to throw that, and then that's when I surrendered, which is pretty much just ending myself, even though I was already down for the count. But yeah, guy was a douchebag. But the thing about Embark was they when I reported the guy and they found the rightful cause, they gave me my gear back, and that
Oh,
isn't
wow.
like it. This isn't a hey, if someone shoots you because it's part of the game, go ahead and report the person. No. This was justified, but at the same time, like, there's other random things that happen. Like, someone, like I said, like a rando that doesn't talk to you just shoots you. You're not going to get your shit back. That's just a welcome to the big leagues moment at that point, and you just gotta cowboy up.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have finished the editing for the Saul episode, which will come Thursday more than likely, or Friday. We'll
Yeah.
see. Other than that, it's more just keeping up with the podcast and keeping up with the sports news and all that good stuff. Go ahead, Spenace.
And old Spanish has been a little busy. The unk of the pod, or at least the one that currently has the unk status, Ruckus, you are not there yet. You still have a couple years to go until you earn your unk card.
When I get
But
a
we
gray hair,
know,
I'll let you know.
I'm gonna say the unk status comes when your tens place of your age hits authority. So you've got about 2 years. But I am doing the Nostalgia Trippin' series that is in motion. I have already done all the recording, and it will be going through on Tuesdays in the month of March. And we are doing Marvel Cosmic Invasion, of which we are halfway through at time of recording this episode. Game is still to be determined for season 2, and that is going to likely, I'm hopeful for certain things to come along in May to potentially do to potentially do that one, but I know that I'll have some things along the way, so that potentially may move to June. It may move to June. I'm looking around the May June window for that, and I have not confirmed yet, based on some certain hardware that I could get, of whether it will be Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness or Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 will be a shorter series, but Pokemon XD, I can get more episodes out and do them 2 days a week. To be determined, still to be determined, but those are the two that are potentially next on the docket. And then some other content that I will be recording with MLB The Show coming out on. I won't be doing the digital deluxe of it, so I will be getting it on the 17th. But Mickey K-Line, I will be doing a Road to the Show based on Mickey K-Line, the fictional character from Hey Arnold. And that is a planned release in April. Mondays and Fridays, starting April 6th. So I will have maybe a short little turnaround for content to start. But at the same time, I do plan to not feel like I burn out through it. So I'm going to try and do less episodes a week, and then also make sure I spread time out to other content. But other content I was doing while we were off. There is a Mario Party series of trilogy of games that we have 3 boards done. so far on the first Mario Party with Alex Man that I am a part of. I kind of spearheaded the idea to him, so I am one of the primary features. Alex Man and his friend Life of Link, we have been going through the first Mario Party and Mario's Rainbow Castle, Peach's birthday cake, and Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong Island, or the Donkey Kong's Jungle Adventure, are all on there currently right now, and those are on the live versions of them will be on Alex Man's channel on Saturday nights at around 7 p.m. Mountain Standard, so it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. But they are usually uploaded in, and they've been in 4 parts starting the Monday after and go to the Thursday after. So if you want them in bits and pieces and have them break it out in segments and end in cliffhangers, you can watch them during the week. Otherwise, whenever during the week after we record them on Saturday, if you want the live version and the full game all at once, check out Alex Man's stream on Saturday nights as we find time to be able to go for it. And on that note, with all the news taken care of here, we now can move on to the Eastwood segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Roll it. All right. Can I get a big round of applause for what we're about to sink our teeth in with the good this week?
Well, take it away, Ruckus.
USA. That's what the guy says on Beer Fest whenever USA wins in the Beer Fest thing. But we're not talking about drinking alcoholic beverages excessively. We're talking about the United States men's and women's hockey teams in the Winter Olympics. That was later, or
Really the end of February.
Yeah, end of the fake month. So they won. They both won. The gold medal. The men seemed a little bit more, I guess, intense, but I didn't watch the women's one, but I just saw a bunch of the highlights of the men's one where the New Jersey Devils guard or attacker guy, the one that got the gold, broke a couple of his teeth with a puck, I think, or
Well, and the interesting thing is that the team that the United States had to win and beat in both occasions was Canada.
And Canada apologized instead of just, chugging the maple syrup and saying, "Wow." Sorry about that.
Oh. Well, Terrence Phillip, you lose again.
Hey, buddy, I ain't your buddy guy. I ain't your guy, buddy. You just hear from a distance, I ain't your guy, buddy.
And then the bad this week is the Falcons giving themselves a headache at quarterback as they sign Tua Tagovailoa.
Do you think any game times are going to be thrown by Tua this season? I guess we'll see.
I'm sorry. Quite frankly, this replacement for replacing Kirk Cousins with Tua Tagovailoa, granted that this is an aging Kirk Cousins that's in his 30s, like later 30s. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be racist here, but this is a downgrade. This is a downgrade in the sense that Kirk Cousins, I think at his age right now, is a much better quarterback than what Tua Tagovailoa is.
Well, Tua Tagovailoa really isn't a quarterback in anything. If anything, he's just he is someone that is like a con artist where they'll pretend to play quarterback and then they'll just like go headfirst into the defense and then be like, "Oh, I got a concussion." And then he was like, "Yeah, I'll probably learn from that at some point." Never learns from it. Does the same shit again, even after the week before. It's like, do you have a death wish, Mister Turn the Ball Over?
I'm like, if he were a Mario character, Tua Tagovailoa is a bullet bill.
Yes. That's why I've been trying to say for like the past couple of years after I keep on seeing him getting concussion after concussion after concussion, and everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, that's just Tua," and then they realize, "Oh shit, like this is it's like imagine if there was a intervention for people that had an obsession for getting concussions, and Tua had to have an intervention. They're like, sit over here. It's like, how do you?
Consider who else would be sitting next to him in that Headbutters Anonymous or Headbangers Anonymous. Cam
Scabadoo.
Jackson Dart Simpson.
Dude, I bet you Cam Scabadoo caused more drywall repairs than anything in his youth. Like, my God, just seeing the memes.
Oh my gosh. And then the ugly this week. A Brazilian league soccer match. I believe it was actually the championship of a tournament. It between Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro. There was a mass brawl that broke out. The New York Times said it had turned into MMA, where I think in this case it was mass martial arts, not mixed martial arts, as 23 red cards and police intervention had to be put in for a match between these two in the final 30 seconds of the match. And it was a lengthy brawl.
Doesn't this kind of happen all the time, though, in the Brazilian League of Soccer?
Not like this.
Well, it may be in the stands, but probably not on the field. I remember hearing a long time ago about the World Cup where, like, when I think it was in Brazil, they were like, "Oh, there were a bunch of fights happening." It's like, damn, okay, okay. Are we ready to go to the next segment?
I was almost going to say that they had more red cards in that one, or they had as well. I think Neymar ruins it, but they had more red cards in that than Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo combined. And that is only 17 red cards, 17 red cards between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Messi only has 3. But with that aside, we will now move on to the high heat, where we are doing the Major League Baseball previews. This will be for episode 176, which is this week. And we will conclude it with episode 177 in 2 weeks, because I will be unable to. I did forget this in the channel housekeeping. We will have no episode next week due to some stuff on my end. But at the same time, we'll have the American League in 2 weeks, but we'll start with the National League this week.
Correct.
And Ruckus, you gotta love how I've come up with some witty takes for these.
You almost make it sound like I did it with ChatGPT.
I came up with this on the fly.
Like, if you use my personality with ChatGPT, there's like, oh yeah, it almost sounds like Ruckus actually gave a shit for half of this.
well, if we look at the Philadelphia, we're going to start with the NL East, and we're kind of going to work top to bottom here. with the Philadelphia Phillies, who now have Adolis Garcia. They still have Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, JT Realmuto.
Trey Turner.
But yeah, Trey Turner's not a Phil. I don't wait. Yeah, Trey Turner's still a Philly. I thought he was still over with the Dodgers, but nope. Nope. I think Trey Turner's still Philly. But are you in full belief that replacing Nick Castellanos with Adolis Garcia will get them to the World Series?
I don't think if both of them were even on the Phillies, they would have potentially won the World Series because number one, Nick Castellanos really only hits homers if something catastrophic happens. Um, and then Adolis Garcia doesn't really uh, have much power until later in the season. So like your beginning season numbers are gonna kind of plateau, but then it'll somehow randomly come back up near the end of the season when it matters for the playoffs. But I don't know. That and
Yep.
Adolis is kind of injury prone at times, but
Well, and I put here simply that there is no belief that replacing Nick Castellanos with Adolis Garcia will Blastellanos them to the World Series. But I still believe that the Philadelphia Phillies will win the NL East.
yep, unless something catastrophic health wise happens. All
Well,
right.
in the Mets case, they have a whole lot of middle infielders and not much else. And Bud Abbott and Luke Costello simply had to ask one question when it comes to the Mets lineup. Who is playing first? I thought you were going to follow it up with him. I don't know, but he's on third. We're not talking about him.
Nah, I'll let you have this.
Yeah. So simply, I don't know who's playing first for the Mets, but apparently I don't think the Mets cared either. So,
Yep.
yeah, so basically the Mets let Pete Alonso walk, and there is no clear person who we thought was going to be there at first base.
Yeah,
And
anyways, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I think you were still continuing on a point.
Oh, I was just saying I don't know what the Mets are thinking as far as uh I guess what they really wanted to target because they got Bo Bichette, but I don't know how great he's gonna be. And then like I just don't know what the Mets are gonna become as the season rolls in. The Braves though seem interesting. Go ahead on that.
Well, my thoughts are that as long as the tomahawk doesn't chop into the health or performance of key players, the Braves should see a playoff spot. I
I
think the
think it's
Braves
mostly
roster construction.
guaranteed.
Well, I think the roster construction for the Braves is good enough.
Yeah.
It's good enough to be in the hunt. But I mean, with 3 wild card spots, most of the time it seems to be hogged up by the AL or by the NL West. But I think the Braves can play a very legitimate spoiler.
Yep.
And the Moneyball roster for the Miami Marlins.
Dude,
I
I could
mean,
buy a sword. I could buy swordfish steaks at um Sprouts or Whole Foods for cheaper than what the Marlins probably paid for their roster.
you basically could play. You're basically calling out the one thing that you would have in Marco Polo if someone is standing outside of the pool for what the Marlins roster construction looks more like. Fish out of water.
The swordfish
And
though in that
then,
analogy would be tastier, but anyways, let's keep going.
yeah. a swordfish is a fish. And in order for you to eat a swordfish, it has to be out of water. Not the like a little more like I had to kind of play the angle a little bit.
It's okay.
But the Nationals. I mean, how you feeling on them? I mean, you've got James Wood who's kind of come along. Dylan Cruz just got called up.
We'll
Bunch of young
see.
talent.
I mean,
But
their team is kind of a mystery. It's almost kind of like the Royals in a sense, where the Royals for the longest time had like some pieces that they probably could have used to make something special, and then they just underperformed. And the Nationals did the same after they won the World Series in 2019 and just weren't really the same. And the Royals are slowly but surely getting to that, and that's kind of what the Nationals are dealing with too.
I think the issue with the Nationals is that I think they re-signed the wrong guy. They re-signed Strasburg when they probably could have re-signed Rendon. And I think Rendon could have been better off in DC anyway.
You could argue as a Royals fan that Alex Gordon was a bad signing because all he did was swing and miss whenever he after the World Series. Like he was good defensively, but his offense numbers, no.
Yeah. But wasn't Alex Gordon also on the downside of his career though?
Doesn't matter.
But as far as the Nationals right now, though, a young roster that has potential, but still seems about a year or two away from laying down some nation's capital punishment. And the next up is the NL Central. We now will be digging on the Cubs, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, and Pirates. And we're going to start with the team that I think will win the division, the Chicago Cubs. Who basically, their biggest move that they had was they let Kyle Tucker walk, but sign Alex Bregman.
That's my opinion on it.
So they basically exchanged out a former champion Houston Astro with bringing in a former champion Houston Astro in the infield. So yes, the main point of how far this team is going to go is determined by how interchangeable the former champion Astro in this lineup can be. I mean, granted that we have the real life Billy Haywood in center field, and I think he's going to be an MVP candidate. But it's going to come down to how well Bregman will play as a Cub compared to where Kyle Tucker ended up with the Dodgers. Next up is the Milwaukee Brewers. And this team is sneaky good.
Yeah, I didn't think they were actually going to be a playoff contending team last year, but here we are again.
I mean, I call the Brewers an underrated roster that can get fans to crack open the celebratory Miller Lite, but also enjoy the high life of a potential playoff spot. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Reds. And this is one where there were a lot of new players that have kind of come in, but it seems like it's also been something that has been built over time with players like Ellie De La Cruz, Noel V. Marte, Nick Lodolo, Hunter Green. So it's like they have pieces. And it's the cogs of Tito's big red machine have quietly been assembled over time. But so long as these cogs, including new signees and Eugenio Suarez, and can find a way to connect well and they get a full good head of steam, I think the Reds can play spoiler for potential wildcard teams.
We'll see.
And now the next two, which are the bottom feeders in the division, the Cardinals, who basically have done exactly what I thought as soon as they hired Chaim Bloom would come along. As a Red Sox fan, I shake my head in disbelief and say, "Ah, no." Mr. Blow it up and start over Bloom is at it again, as they have traded away both Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras, but also Sonny Gray. Contreras and Gray both going to the Red Sox, and Arenado to Arizona. So, I mean, Chaim has just basically said, "Oh, I'm going to put all the C4 here. All I have to do is push this button." It's like, and you would think with all of a sudden that the Cardinals would be like, "No, don't push it."
It's almost like a Baby Groot scenario where he's like, eh, and then Raccoon's like, no, don't press that button. And he's just like, eh?
I am Groot.
I am Groot?
I
No, don't press that button. I am Groot.
That was the best part in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. I believe this was
Yeah,
Part 2.
I think it was 2, because Part 3 was very, 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 very depressing.
It was a very Rocket Raccoon centered. That was a very Rocket Raccoon centered plot line.
It's like trying to listen to the new Imagine Dragons stuff. Just depression.
As if they weren't already partially there anyway. And now the Pirates. Is the Jolly Roger being raised? Or are the Pittsburgh Pirates still a sinking ship?
I have a feeling the pirate... Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
We can only sail the seven seas. We can only sail the seven seas with them as they try to avoid being trapped in Davy Jones' locker.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Pirates organization was like Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow when he's like, "Hey guys, guess what I got? I got a jar of dirt." and that's like the first month, and then the rest of the year it's just on to your locker. And around like the trade deadline, that's when you hear the famous line from Davy Jones saying, "Do you fear death?"
I mean, you get to the doldrums of June, and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Pirates could be saying, "Why's all the rum gone?"
Do you fear death? Jack Sparrow. Dude, I idolized fucking Davy Jones back in the day when I was a little kid because I was like, that's a badass motherfucker right there with the where you're just like have that ship and it's just filled with barnacles and all sorts of stuff, and you got your crew all themed as like this hard AF crew that doesn't think twice. They just shoot first, ask questions later kind of demographic. Like, hell yeah, let's go. Anyways.
Oh, and that was just so you know, that was Bill Nighy as the actor for Davy Jones. And he was famously in some other movies. He was actually in, I think he did his most recent one he did was Shelter with Jason Statham. But he was in stuff like Valkyrie.
Dude, you could probably have Jason Statham and that actor as like a quartet because they kind of have like the same kind of voice structure. Because like Statham is just like, yeah, I'm the beekeeper, whereas Davy Jones' character is just like, do you fear death? It could be like, do you fear death? Do you fear death?
I think he did. Yeah, he did Rango. He did Rango, Shaun of the Dead. He has an Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role.
Ooh, Orlando Bloom and him would be perfect with Jason Statham.
Orlando Bloom was in Pirates of the Caribbean as Will Turner.
And that's what I'm saying, a quartet between...
Yep. Well, and last but not least, we now move on to the NL West. And you know what? I think in this one, I think we start from the bottom. And talking about the Colorado Rockies.
Not
Of which,
rock bottom.
oh, we've already done the title of Rocky's Bottom. We're not gonna do that one again.
Hold on, can I do
But
your
I just said,
can I do your joke but in the rock bottom language?
okay.
Mile high elevation with below sea level expectation.
Yep. I mean, that is exactly where the Colorado Rockies are. They are still a bad team.
Can we agree that Chris Bryant was the worst signing in Rockies history?
I'm gonna say I have not looked up any other information on this, but I will say debatable. But I do believe that the Chris Bryant signing has not panned out to where it should have been.
It's starting to sound like the Anthony Rendon signing from the Angels. All right, I'm done with the bit. The bit's over.
Yeah, I think the bit was kind of done. I think we're done with the farting ruckus bit. And now we move on to the San Francisco Giants, who have hired a a manager that has done no more than signing or at least coaching college ball. And it is Tony Vitello, who was formerly of the University of Tennessee. So the concept of this for the Giants: fee, fi, fo, fum. Let's hope the decision to get a manager who has only coached as high as college ball equals a decision that was not dumb.
I've seen worse. How about Gabe Kapler? Can't be that bad. Can't be worse than
Um,
him.
I disagree because I think the first year that they had Gabe Kapler, the Giants were really, really good.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Gabe Kapler as the Phillies head coach when he started out.
Yeah, but I mean the biggest difference between what Tony Vitello is and what Gabe Kapler is, Gabe Kapler actually played in the major leagues. I don't think Tony Vitello ever did. So that as a whole, it still says advantage Gabe Kapler going that way anyway.
Interesting.
Yep. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, the roster, I believe, has some good venom to potentially take a bite into the wild card race. But the potency of that venom is the biggest question mark. I mean, you still have Corbin Carroll, you still have that, but I still think that the rate that the Diamondbacks are really, I think the one bad setup breaks away from going into full fire sale mode.
I don't know how to feel
It's
about
basically
that.
it's where the Cleveland Guardians have been for the last God knows how long.
Oh, so you're saying like they're the NL's version of the Guardians?
At this point, right now, yes. I think they're
Well,
just
if
like
Cattell, go ahead.
they're like Grandmaster Flash and saying just don't push him because he's close to the edge.
Is it kind of so? Are we saying that Cattell Marte and Jose Ramirez are kind of like in a stranglehold because they both still have contracts with their respective teams and they've been there for forever?
And both switch hitting infielders.
Damn, I didn't even go that far. I just knew that both those guys are unks.
Wow, like you didn't even know that detail? That
I
would
didn't
shock me
pay
a little bit.
attention to that detail. Let's put the record straight. I wasn't even thinking that. I was just thinking player that has been with that team for longer. Not even thinking, oh shit, yeah, Cattell Marte played shortstop and second and outfield, whereas Jose did mainly in the infield. But they're both speed demons and power demons.
It, well, and then the next team we'll be talking about is the San Diego Padres, where I just think they're not deep. The key pieces are great talent, but the depth on this team is probably going to be saying some Hail Marys. Hopefully, in that none of those vital pieces that they have miss extended amounts of time.
Well, spoiler alert, that's been the Padres' MO since Eric Hosmer got signed to the Padres. Everyone was either hurt or underperforming, as per usual. And then they tried to throw shit at the wall so much to where even the people that had breakout seasons halfway through the season ended up not performing as well as they did beforehand. Like Brendan Drury, he was kind of mid.
Oh, you have the dark stick, but they're not even on target. It's like someone with a shotgun trying to go for the clay pigeon and he just keeps getting kickback, and they keep getting kickback. The
No,
kickback.
I don't even think there's a clay pigeon. I think it's literally just like a bad simulation, but they just want to believe that it was good. Like they just
No, but I'm
kind of.
saying like they're not like the kickback on the shotgun like moves the shoulder away and they completely miss the pigeon. It's like their
Interesting.
shoulder just is not able to hold the shotgun.
So you
Like
think
they're
that
dealing with so much
they're
kickback.
shooting a shotgun, but it's not going anywhere accurate because the guy is just muffing it.
Right. Like the Padres have just been muffing it the whole time.
Well, I was just saying that it was all an illusion. Anyways, but anyway.
Yep. And then last but not least, probably the hands down NL favorite at this point. It's the Dodgers. Yawn. Another year. More big name players signed there. Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker. Steinbrenner mode has been engaged once more for the Dodgers.
Can we just
Chris
sim to the
Daughtry.
regular season or sim out of
Well,
regular season, just see where the Dodgers land?
Well, Chris Daughtry, take it away.
There's no surprise that I'll be here tomorrow. And there's no surprise. There you go. That's what you were really going for.
Yeah. I mean, there's where the joke lands.
And no dead ass. Every time we see something where we're just like same shit, different toilet. Yep, same shit, different toilet. We'll just send that back and forth.
It's a bit that is stuck around, like it's been in our DMs back and forth with each other.
And sometimes I'm just like whatever. No surprise.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've both done it to each other at least once.
Yep. And you're just like, how have we not done this bit yet? And I'm just like, well, I just didn't think it really had that much traction because no one really gave a shit about it until now, apparently.
I mean, I'm thinking that I'm like, how have we not either turned this into a segment or have done this as a prolonged bit? And I think this could be a running bit, like depending on certain things that occur. But it's now
better
move
than
on
the
to...
bingo card thing too, to be honest.
Oh, the bingo card one, I think that was a lot of us having to fish for it.
Yeah.
This one we really haven't had to do as much fishing for it. It just kind of happens. But on that note, we now move from talking about baseball to talking about football, as the first couple days of the free agency negotiation period have kicked in, and it went 0 to 100 quicker than Drake's song ever dropped.
Dude, I was listening to the Pat McAfee show whenever they announced that Alec Pierce got re-signed, and that was like very early in.
Yep. But we will be grading some of the major moves in free agency, and there are a bunch here. And we will start with the Cowboys trading for Rashawn Gary. Where do we have that go?
You know the grade is going to be like a C or a D plus when I couldn't tell the difference between Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark. I thought Rashawn Gary was already on the Cowboys. I was that naive because I was like, wait, didn't we get him from Micah Parsons? Like, what's going on here?
No, Rashawn Gary's the edge rusher.
Right.
Kenny Clark's the interior line. But I'm probably going to give this a C, just simply because for what Dallas probably should have done to what they're now getting in return with trading Green Bay again, it just doesn't look good. Like, if we were to base it on like true look of what should have happened, this is an F. But I think you end up with this being probably a C at best. This next one is a two-parter. The Colts re-signing Alec Pierce, their big play receiver, but trade away their big body receiver, Michael Pittman, to the Steelers. Which side of this? We're kind of going to grade the Colts side, and I think we go into the Steelers side a little bit with this.
I think the Alec Pierce re-signing for the Colts is a B. Like, you still have to figure out who your quarterback is going to be, and also figure out how you're gonna extend Jonathan Taylor, even if you decide not to. Like, you still gotta have an answer at running back. But the Steelers grade, I would say, is about a B plus because they get a new weapon that hasn't aged like milk, like MVS or Adam Thielen. You get a guy that's somewhat decent.
According to Pat McAfee on the Colts side for Michael Pittman, that is a F. But
my coworker that also likes to talk sports with me was like, how did he not get fined for yelling the F bomb whenever he realized he saw the tweet?
He probably did. But I don't think that. But I mean, the FCC would probably end up having to send something out and probably have it end up being in the mail. So he'll probably see that here in about a couple of days if that's anything to go off of.
Well, he also said the F bomb today on the second day thing, but it was an isolated incident where he was just kind of in the moment, but it wasn't like he just literally just went.
It's almost like they both were. But I think in the Alec Pierce situation for the Colts, I'm probably going to say that this is this is probably a B minus. Mostly because I think in them also losing Pittman in the process and the uncertainty at quarterback, it doesn't help. But then Pittman, as far as the Colts, that's a C minus. With Pittsburgh, probably at about a C plus. Pittman is kind of like fallen off in terms of talent. Pittsburgh also has uncertainty at quarterback.
Yep.
But Michael Pittman no longer is a number one wide receiver. He's going to be the number two there because Pittsburgh still has DK. But I don't expect Pittsburgh offenses, even with Mike McCarthy, to have a quarterback to wide receiver bonanza like Big Ben to AB. That we're not going to be seeing that. Business in that regard is not necessarily going to be booming.
Yeah.
The next one here is that the Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker III. This is your squad, Ruckus. How do you feel about that first signing?
I'm trying not to be super hyped about this because when I was looking to draft this guy or get this guy in the late stages of the fantasy football, I was like, Is he really worth it? And then apparently he showed up on the biggest stage and got Super Bowl MVP. So we'll see. I think he'll probably be a premium guy that we use, but I don't know what that means for just the depth of the Chiefs in general, because we still have to get some secondary help. We literally just got our two best cornerbacks poached by the Rams,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
also
we'll talk
Joshua
about that later.
Williams. But anyways,
I mean, the Chiefs are just
the
losing pieces
the
left and right.
rating B+.
I am not going to go as high here because of what the Chiefs could have also had, though they probably still have a potential shot at it. I think that they also could have spent that money on a corner and then looked at Jeremiah Love, potentially if there was a good draft spot available for him, to be right there, to pretty much be right there. Or even possibly the Chiefs could be in the sweepstakes because Alvin Kamara is not worth as much as he used to be, to try and trade for Alvin Kamara to kind of complement that K9 or something along those lines where they maybe keep a Kareem Hunt as a backup. But I'm going to say that this is a little more toward a B- for me. It's a B-. Not quite a C+, but it's on that very low end of that B-. The Panthers now signing Jalen Phillips. Where do you think you're going to grade that one?
B.
I am actually really high on this one. I'm going to say this is an A-. This is an A- for me. You get an edge rusher like this, a high quality edge rusher, going to a team that is right now looking to try and push toward that next step. This is good for Carolina. And I think they can draft the next piece on the other side to complement him if there's one available and kind of continue to build off of where they've already been going in the playoffs this year. Oh man. This definitely it's a little closer to an A- for me than anything else.
Yeah.
The Rams signing the two major Chiefs corners.
I'm interested to see
Jalen Watts.
I'm interested to see how they perform after they get the contract stuff done and go through training camp and all that. I think it'll be an interesting time for both the offense of the Rams with Nakua facing off McDuffie or Watson, but at the same time, maybe they drag down a little bit in quality, but I'm not sure. I think I'm happy for the Rams. Hopefully they get good luck with McDuffie and Watson together because they definitely did really well together in Kansas City.
Well, where's your letter grade going?
B+.
I think this overall is a B+ across the board. It may be in that closer to A- on McDuffie and closer to a B on Jalen Watson, but it's a solid B+. I think that McDuffie's going to be great. He'll find a good fit there in LA, just depending on how the scheme goes. I think I'm going to skip the Linderbaum one. I think we're both kind of thinking that that's definitely an A for the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Titans signing Wan'Dale Robinson. Cam Ward gets doesn't really have a number one wide receiver now, but he's got a couple of guys that potentially are really good number twos.
C+.
This is a C+ for me. The Saints signing Travis Etienne.
B-.
I don't like this one. I really don't, because
Injury trouble.
There's injury trouble. I think there's age is an issue too. He's a little younger than Kamara. but I don't know if you're getting the same quality. This is a solid C.
Well, he has not very much legal issues compared to Kamara, so I would give him the edge
I
on
mean,
that.
yeah, I mean that's beside the point. My Commanders signing Adafe Owe and Leo Chenal as
Congrats.
major defensive options. I am going to say that this overall, the Owe deal I think was definitely high, but I think the value on him had spiked, which was why we had to pay him. And then Chenal, we got at a really good value. I think a good value considering. I'm leaning toward probably an A minus across the board,
Yeah.
especially if it goes well in Owe's case. The Lions now have, since they traded away David Montgomery, they now go and get Isaiah Pacheco, the former Chiefs back. How are we grading this one?
No,
I
I'm
guess
just-
I figured
um.
I totally called that for you.
So for the Lions getting Pacheco, I did not see that coming, but at the same time, instead of the Sonic and Knuckles duo, it could be the Sonic and Shadow duo
Shadow.
which we'll see what happens with Pacheco. I hope he does well
Although
over
it doesn't
there.
necessarily
He
look like
also
the hardest part about that is that he doesn't look like he's skating when he's running as far as Pacheco. That kind of like takes away from the shadow effect.
I
But
wonder if I just hope that Pacheco gets back to his form before his knee injury that he had, the fibula last year. Um, good luck to him. I'm curious about his contract because on Facebook they were saying it was 5 years, 200 million, and I know that's bullshit. That would never
oh, no,
happen.
that might be too many zero. You may have too many zeros, but he signed for. I'm wanting to look at and see if there is
I don't
a.
think there's a metric
Says
yet
the
for it.
Lions has a clear expiration date. It looks like it is a 1 year deal.
I was
Looks like
hoping he
just a
would sign
single
back with the
year.
Chiefs, but it is what it is. Maybe it turns into a McCole Hardman situation where whereas McCole Hardman signed a 1 year deal with the Jets, the year or yeah, the year that we went back to back and then was later traded back to us from the Jets. Could happen. I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying it could be one of those cases. But let's keep moving on.
Yeah, I figured it's a 1 year deal. I'm gonna say it's a B minus. Mike Evans leaves Tampa Bay to go to the Bay Area as he heads to the San Francisco 49ers.
He needs to stay healthy in order to actually be beneficial for the 49ers offense. That's all I'm going to say, and that's all I need to say.
I mean, a leader in the locker room, that could be fine for what the Niners need in the wide receiver room. But how long is he going to stay on the field?
Right.
Leadership wise, this is a B plus. But in terms of productivity on the field wise, I think this is a little closer to a C minus.
Yeah.
The Seahawks re-signing Rashid Shaheed.
B.
Yeah, this is a solid B. The Giants signing Isaiah Likely and Tremaine Edmonds.
C plus. It's downgraded from a B because Tremaine Edmonds is kind of meh.
I'm probably going to say that I think it was probably a B minus on Isaiah Likely, and I think it ultimately is a C plus on Tremaine Edmonds. The Dolphins signing Malik Willis. The former Packers coach gets the former Packers backup quarterback.
B.
This actually, I think, may be better than what we think it is.
I think it's a tie between him and Quinn Ewers as a starting quarterback.
Oh, I think Willis is winning the starting job. I think Willis will win that starting job, and it's going to be pretty decisive. I'm going to say that this ultimately is a B plus, but it could very quickly go up to an A minus when done, if done right. Especially because he'll have a number one wide receiver like Jalen Waddle to throw to. As long as they build around Malik Willis and have it be effective, oh man, this is the opportunity that he wasn't getting, and it's a chance to shine. The Jets finally wrote back as they now trade back for Geno Smith.
Hoopla.
Does this hoopla have a letter grade?
A super F. If I was Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents, it'd be super mega F, because who the fuck cares what the Jets are doing anymore? It's up to EA now with their Madden ratings to shape what the Jets' future is.
This is probably a C at best. A C at best. Maybe even a C minus. The Patriots sign Romeo Doubs.
This one is definitely a upgrade when it comes to youth, but also talent at the same time mixed together well. Without Cardi B, I think he's a better upgrade than Stephon Diggs.
I'm going to say in terms of receiver quality, like the household name side, I think Romeo Doubs is a downgrade. Youth-wise, there's the upgrade, but I don't know how. The biggest question mark is going to be how Romeo Doubs' game is going to gel with Drake May passing the football.
Dude, I think it's going to be less worries. It's going to be way less worries. You don't have baby mama bullshit with Diggs and his talent that isn't really there. His talent mainly showed in Buffalo, even though he didn't have the greatest of experience there. But Stephon Diggs
Doubs has also not been the most impressive wide receiver at his time in Green Bay.
I think it's definitely a better investment. I think it's a better investment for the Patriots compared to Juju Smith-Schuster and Stephon Diggs combined.
Oh,
because Juju maybe lasted like half the year.
I think you were fine on the individual side. I think the combined was probably where it threw off because I thought Diggs was a slightly better investment. It was a better investment than Juju, but I think that the long term may turn out better for Romeo Doubs.
Well,
Diggs is why I'm giving that a B minus.
Well, Diggs's Achilles heel was his legal issues, so like there's that too.
I think Diggs's Achilles heel was obviously also some injuries too, but I think that his bigger thing as far as New England was just the affordability to eventually keep him.
B plus.
I don't think they were. Yeah, I'm saying B minus on Doubs. The Eagles upgrade again at corner and get Leak Woolen. I mean, they still have Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean on rookies. So this is just depth.
I don't really have an opinion on this one. I'm just going with whatever your grade is.
Yeah, I'm probably at a B minus on this. But this is also because the Texans have signed Reed Blankenship.
I'm going to give a B for that.
I think the grade on this one, I'm probably going to say that this is definitely. Wait, what? What did you give this?
I gave it a B.
Yeah, I'm in the B to B plus range on him because Blankenship is young and he's still good. And now, the big piece of what ended up being the breaking news of the portion at just as we were heading into the Ravens had initially made a deal for Max Crosby, and we were going to kick off with this. But the Ravens have now since backed out of the deal due to medical concerns that arose on Max Crosby's physical. Just a few days after initially making the deal. I think it's like 4 days because it was the deal was made Friday night and they found out Tuesday night that the physical concerns occurred. So, what's the grade on Baltimore's decision to back out? Well, the initial trade and then the decision to back out.
It's like it's the NFL equivalent of what Carlos Correa had issues with whenever he was trying to get his max contract back in the day. Who was he trying to sign with? Was it the Mets or another team? And then they realized that his physical came back bad, and it was due to his like leg or something, and it was like a chronic thing he was dealing with. And then the Twins were like, "Fuck it, we'll sign you back." I couldn't remember what team it was. I didn't know if it was the Mets or some other team that was trying to give him a big deal. And then,
It was the Giants. It was the Giants
oh
and the Mets.
yeah, that's right.
Due to long-term concern, it was during the 2022-2023 offseason. Correa had failed physicals with both the San Francisco Giants and New York Mets. And then that was when the Twins picked him back up.
Yep, I remember that. I think for the Ravens grade, I don't know, good common sense.
I mean, I think the initial trade for the Ravens was probably about a B minus. The decision to back out with the physical because there were concerns and some red flags, which always seem to find their way around every so often. There's red flags on certain things no matter where you go. And this is probably I think it's like a solid B.
I agree.
Well, and Ruckus, that also was your dud, but that was also back around the time that we were thinking about it. But then it's like, oh, the Ravens actually had some common sense involved with it, so
It
it's not so Dudley anymore.
Oh well, shit happens. I'll go with my
Yeah,
stud then to wrap my
yep,
stud and dud. All right, so my stud this week is Vinny Pasquantino, also known as the Pasquatch, for the World Baseball Classic, and I believe couldn't remember if it was after someone homered, he gave them a shot of espresso, but
yep. That's the Italian team. Yep.
Team Italy on the WBC, Vinny Pasquantino volunteered to make his teammates espresso shots for behaving great on a at bat and getting their team some runs. And after the game ended, so post game show was going on, the reporter asked third baseman Zach DiNenzo about how they rated the espressos made by Vinny Pasquantino, and Zach DiNenzo complained about his mouth being burned by how hot the espresso was. It was too hot, and even other players complained about their mouths being burned from Vinny's special espressos, which I guess were just hot, hot, hot commodity.
But
You're welcome for the shitty dad joke, or what was just a shitty joke. Go ahead, Spenace.
Yeah. Well, my stud goes to Nintendo in their Super Mario Galaxy Movie Direct, officially announcing that Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, will be voicing Yoshi in the new Super Mario Galaxy movie. This movie already has a pretty stacked cast. And I think it only got better with that. And I don't think the movie's going to turn out too bad. I know that the missus and I saw the first one, so we'll watch this one as well. And then my dud goes to the Atlanta Hawks for even trying to come up with a promotion paying tribute to Magic City, which is known for being a strip club that they were considering a cultural institution. And
I mean, if it
then
was the BET Awards, maybe.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is that they tried to go with the cultural institution thing with having the entertainment with T.I. perform and lemon pepper wings being served in the concession stands. But at the same time, everybody in the whole area would know that that is known for being a strip club. There were people against it, and the NBA said, no, 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 you will not do that. And giving him a former Atlanta Hawk Dikembe Mutombo finger wag as they said, denied.
You know what also I just denied earlier whenever we were agreeing that we already talked about my dud? I have another one. It's the graphic for the So Long for Tua Tagovailoa with the Miami Dolphins, where they didn't have much good to say about him other than he was a hard worker and he was a 4-time captain. Nothing else. Big oofs by...
Wait. What was the passing yards leader 1 year?
I don't know.
I believe he was the 2023 passing yards leader.
Well, I guess at some point we'll put that stat up, but for now, I guess who cares? He's gone, and the dead cap is probably the worst thing about this whole thing for the Dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa was the passing yards leader in 2023 with 4,624 yards. That was the only thing that I really think Miami could have truly said. And on that note, we will now move on to lights, camera, action. As we get to talk about some stuff we've been watching and playing that is not necessarily content related. And Ruckus, take it. We kind of will start with one that we've been doing that we kind of did briefly together during our time off.
Yep. So I have a little bit of an opinion piece on this. So last or a couple weekends ago, or I think right.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Right. There was a server slam for a marathon, and they were trying to see how their stability was through the networking for Bungie to see how they could handle the game for launch to get like an idea. Anyways, free download for the weekend. People could play it, do the play test or whatnot. I tried it with Spenace and Saul, and Saul was more into it than he was with Arc Raiders, but I digress. But he's still been playing it, by the way. That's why I said that. But
yeah.
When we all three played, I thought it was okay, but I was starting to like feel like it was more of like it was trying to like it almost felt like a Redfall game where it was like it was trying to be something, but it wasn't feeling the same way after you got to play it hands on. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I just need to play it more, but I just kind of felt like it was a deathmatch title rather than
it wasn't fun.
I think it could have been fun.
I mean, it could have been fun, but I don't think we really had a lot of like really like when I'm thinking fun, I'm like, we're not necessarily having like really good like laughing moments. We're dealing with too many people. We're dealing with like too many things like shooting at us and dealing with more frustration of like, really?
Well, like it just felt off, and I think the whole point of the meaning behind the title with marathon is it's just gonna be a long grind. Like it's not there's not a whole lot to really write home about on it. It's more just like a shadow drop, but in a way where it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of annoying. Where I mean, with Arc Raiders, they give you a fucking demo, and then you just kind of figure out later, and then I guess something they retain people. I don't know how all that goes, but anywho, um, other than that, as far as what I've been playing, I started Requiem a weekend ago, and I think it's probably one of the better Resident Evil. I put equal because Requiem and Evil together.
Yeah.
Requiem, I think, has a good spice of a few different things, but there are some annoyances in the game, but it's more so just being patient and then realizing and trying to remember what the combat um, controls were again for Resident Evil because I'm so used to just going pew pew or just doing a stealthy melee or whatnot, like
Yeah.
in other games. But in this one, you still gotta shoot them a couple times before you can like hit the melee key and then like knock them down and then just beat the crap out of them more and more. But I don't know. I love the puzzles in Resident Evil. I like the randomness and the storyline. Um, Leon is a freaking menace. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, Spenace, you get the
Yeah.
rest of this.
Well, I thought you also had a watching there too.
One battle after another with Leo DiCaprio is kind of a hit or miss. You either will like it for the action, or you're just gonna probably hate it because the story is kind of slow and it
Yeah.
takes a while to get through. That's all I had to say on that one.
Well, I had nothing that really stood out as far as stuff I was watching on my own, but the missus and I have started Survivor 50 and Celebrity Traders. We're eventually, and we also have started the new season of Top Chef, which has been, which is another good thing for us. But really, for me, like I've been having, I have been on my rocker about Fire Emblem Engage. This game is a strategy Fire Emblem to the core, and I am enjoying every single bit of the thinking that is coming with it. I'm not a big tactical RPG player, but I've been getting them really into them this year, and this is going to be good. And if they keep a lot of these strategy elements in here and marry them with some of the great storytelling that I've heard for Three Houses, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is going to be the chef's kiss. But the new game that I decided to pick up, and I had initially misjudged it. It is Pokemon Pokopia.
My friend was telling me
Yes.
about that one.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, this game is just going to be a generic cozy game. Oh, it's going to be like Animal Crossing. Not exactly. This game is very much objective based. Like there's like, but the the Pokemon will, it doesn't hold your hand into anything, but it gives you very clear direction on what you need to do. It gives you very clear direction on things you can do. It gives you like a clear path, but it doesn't necessarily hold your hand in how you are supposed to achieve it.
Yeah.
And it is it is a it is basically an environment restoration game but then it becomes an environment creation game. So you basically are like how West Coast Customs and Exhibit were pimping rides back in the back in the mid 2000s. You're restoring environments and building them how you want to kind of build them for habitats for Pokemon to come back into the area of the game.
Now I'm thinking of a random cave that Pokemon could just like hang out in, and you're just like, all right, this is Exhibit, and we're gonna put a big ass projector screen in the cave so you could watch movies at high resolution at a big screen. And it's just like, whoa, Exhibit, calm down.
You're basically this ditto that. Oh man, that's a missed opportunity. I could have made that ditto look like right next to the Z exhibits.
You know, it'd be really funny if
Man.
like they had a sound system, but the ironic part is the cave just caves in from all the loudness.
Oh man.
And we got
yeah,
this surround
you
sound system
learn-
that's so good that it'll cave in, literally.
But yes, it is actually I am very surprised by it. And it is quite like it's better than what I was bargaining what I was thinking of it being. Word of mouth kind of put it in a real good place. Word of mouth kind of put it in a much improved place. And I'm happy about that. And now we move on to rounding third and headed for home. And the one major event that we really hadn't talked about up to this point was the World Baseball Classic. Japan and South Korea are advancing in Pool C.
Woohoo.
U.S. advances in Pool B, with Italy and Mexico being the remaining teams to try and to kind of see who will advance out of Pool B.
I heard that
Pool
USA
D
is gonna play Italy tonight, but I'm not sure. I just saw a social media post that it was Bobby versus Vinny.
Yes. Oh, wow. And the U.S. is playing probably. I think they're playing like they've already advanced. Like all of their best players, I don't even think are in. Like all the major, like actually, some of the major players are in. They're just not playing well. I don't think they went with a. I don't think they went with like a major starter for the game.
No.
U.S. is down. Well, U.S. is down actually 5-0 right now to Italy. But I think that this is like, oh,
You just
we're
gotta get
already in. I think
You just gotta get to DOS boot territory, and that's where we got them.
yeah. And then, so it'll be between Italy and Mexico to see who advances there. Venezuela and Dominican Republic are going to be the two teams that advance out of Pool D. And then Pool A gets exciting. Puerto Rico has already advanced, or already looking like they're going to advance. And it's going to really come down to Cuba and Canada. And Canada still has to play both Cuba and Puerto Rico. So it's going to be either, and Canada is currently up 3-2 on Puerto Rico. So if Canada wins, Canada will play Cuba to determine who advances. Italy will play Mexico, and the Dominican Republic and Venezuela will play to determine who wins Pool D.
Okay.
And a couple of lighter things to close it out. Super Mario Day, March 10th of MAR 10 with Mario Day has come and went. Do you have any particular favorite games from Nintendo's signature mascot?
I guess the Super Mario 3D games from the Wii and other older titles that were fun. Other than that, don't care.
I grew up playing Super Mario 64, and Mario was kind of a much bigger side of of my life, Mario Party. Mario Party is always fun. And just all sorts of madness with that. I at least have a lot of major ties to the mascot. And then MLB The Show releases next week. Scale of 1 to 10 on how interested.
0.
Wow. Nothing in that really stuck out for you.
I've still been contemplating whether or not I want to sell my Xbox to get a PS5 and then get the game, but I might as well just wait. I have been neglecting the series ever because of just lack of giving a crap about Diamond Dynasty. Like, that whole thing is just a grind that just keeps on going. And after I did it that first season, I was like, okay, this is the same shit. It's just that they rank the cards differently each time, and it's more of a change up of spice, I guess. But at the same time, I'm just like, great. I don't care as much as I used to, because it's just like, okay, so then you just grind for the same players later on, just in a different order. Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, that's the drawback I've had with Diamond Dynasty. But Road to the Show has kind of with what they're doing with that has kind of been really the biggest thing that is revamped. It's revamped more by interest into going into that mode. So I'm probably at about maybe a 5 on the base of the rest of the game, but a 7, really a 7, possibly an 8 on Road to the Show.
yeah. Okay.
But on that note, that will end it for episode 176 of the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I'm Spenace the Menace.
And I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus, and we'll see you guys in episode 177 in 2 weeks.
Talk Sam Towns, everybody.
Deuces.